expressions. Yesterday we talked about equivalent expressions, but we combined like terms. Today we're going to be making equivalent expressions, but we're going to be using the distributive property to do that. So we did the distributive property at the beginning of the year, and we did it in 5th grade. So we should be good with that. We're just going to be applying it to variables, which is something we have not done yet, okay? So if you'll look at the top of your paper, they've given you 2 examples. I want to remind you, if we have a number right next to a parentheses and there's no space, what does that mean that they're doing? Multiplying. Okay, so remember they are multiplying right there. Go ahead and write that in if you have a hard time remembering that. So the first example is 4 times 3g plus 5. We do parentheses first. The order of operations tells us to do parentheses first. But I have 3g plus 5 in parentheses. Is there anything that I can do with that? Can I add 3g and 5 together? No, because they're not alike, right? So I have a g, and then I have a number without a variable, okay? But I can multiply those. So I'm going to use the distributive property to multiply 4 times my first term and 4 times my second term. When I do 4 times my first term is 3g. So when I do 4 times 3g, what is 4 times 3? 12. So that's where we get our 12g. And then I'm going to do my 4 times my second term, which is 5, and 4 times 5 is 20. Okay, so here they are adding both of those together. So when I make my new expression, my equivalent expression, I'm going to continue to add those together. That's going to stay the same. Okay? Pretty simple. All right, so same thing here. They're showing you the exact same thing, except they showed you one with subtraction. Any questions so far? All right, so let's go ahead and look at problem A. I do want you to break it down a little bit differently than what they did in these 2 examples, and I'll explain why after. So I want us to actually show us multiplying 8 times the first term. So 8 times 3a. I want us to show that in parentheses. And then they are subtracting, so I'm going to keep my subtraction. And then I also have to do 8 times my second term, which is 5. So now I'm going to break it down even further. I can do 8 times 3a, right? What do I get when I do 8 times 3a? 24a minus, what do I get when I do 8 times 5? 40. So my answer here would be 24a minus 40. Yes?
Once you minus 24a and 40, would it become
No, I can't do anything with this because this doesn't have an a attached to it. They're not like terms, so I can't do anything. This is as far as I can go. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's look at B. What am I going to do to start out B, problem B? What do I do first? Zoe?
You're going to put 5 and 9x into parentheses.
What are they doing? Add, subtract, multiply, divide.
Multiply.
I'm multiplying. Good. 5 times 9x in parentheses. I'm adding, so I'm going to keep that. Then what, Paisley?
5 times 3.
5 times 3. Good. Can I simplify this further? Can I go further with this? Yes. Avery, what can I do here?
Multiply 5 times 9x and you'll get 45x.
Good. 45x plus what?
15.
15. 45x plus 15. So the reason that I want you to show this breakdown is I have seen this on our Atlas Classroom tool where they say select all answers and they say give an equivalent expression or which expressions are equivalent to 8 times 3a minus 5. This may be an answer and this may be an answer. Are they both equivalent? Yeah, they're both the same thing, just one is broken down a little bit further. So both of these are equivalent expressions for the original. Okay? Flip your paper over on the back, and I want to do a problem. I'm going to work it just right over here on, well, I'm going to go to my whiteboard. Okay, so what if I had 21g plus 33? 21g plus 33. This doesn't look like what we just did because there's no parentheses, okay? Can I factor out a number from both of these that's the same? Can I factor something out? Do they both have a common factor that I can divide them by? Leilani? 3. I can factor them out to 3. So if I worked those problems in reverse, so if I work them in reverse, I could say 21 divided by 3 is what? 7g. Yes, it has to stay with it. So I'm going to show outside parentheses that I have factored out 3. And then when I do the same thing here and I divide by 3, I get 11. So they may have you work that in a backwards way where you're actually factoring out to get an unsimplified expression, if that makes sense. Okay?